And I really am glad that the desk had brought up those differences that we're going to see out of not being able to run that KO. So definitely keep our eye out on these timings for these opening zero knives. The first one will come through as a way to maybe try to just put some influence over towards this A initial play towards Cave with these dueling Viper toxic screens that are here. But for XSET, their intents and purposes are to show force and largely just try to overwhelm towards B, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like Luminosity, not entirely sure of what that information towards B main actually means, but now they've got another couple spots there, and you can see the rotation's going to start coming through. I think B-Dog just had to burn the dash, and XSET running straight forward into the side here, but we do have that rotation coming through. The snake bite not quite preventing the peak there, and that is a problem. Massive damage from the back, and Luminosity are going to have to play the retake game. The spike is going down.
Yeah, really good follow-up from Zekin off the initial take, which was a little sloppy from XSET's point of view, but for Luminosity, you've got the ability to try to hit this from multiple points. Trap wire the back elbow, and then hit this from two areas at the same time. First point of contact will come by way of the tunnel. Good shots coming through from both Mata and Tig together, leaving it now just down to Aaron, who can do nothing. That is a beautiful dissection of the initial setup from XSET from LG's retake.
Yeah, great way to start things off here on the defense with that first pistol round. With the spike down, though, I mean, it is Breeze.
They kind of run parallel with one another, creating a bit of a vacancy of space over the middle of the A site. But speaking of middle, it's actually going to be an aggressive look from Cryo, who does get turned down. And with that, LG, some pretty significant mid-maps pressure.
Yeah, most important kill to get. Cryo Cells is an absolute demon, and you don't have to worry about him now. We've got the drone coming through as well to assist with this forward position. It's already held onto by Mata on Sky here, trying to dog forward and just doing a great job in that info gathering. At the moment, though, of course, XSET are just holding. They do really want to punish if there is an overextension, but so far, so good for Luminosity. And that means that XSET are going to be forced to themselves have to make a move at some point and move into the defensive setup.
B-Dog helping reinforce this defense at A. As he rotates back over, so does Mata. Overgrowth will be there to make sure that healing will be at least persistent for B-Dog to stay at full HP. Knife comes through. Toxic screen not going to be allowed to go up for now. And here comes the stack. XSET largely just going to be 4-man hitting. Well, actually, Fragment's just a 3-man hit. Fragment's actually going to push out. Take from the side. That'll be good for a first blood. We go to a 4v4 on the take.
A good opening from B-Dog, and the line is being held here for Luminosity. It doesn't look like there's too much left here for BCJ to do. Has that Marshall, though. And 20 seconds. Needs to die. And see if he can take somebody down with him. Anything being given here doesn't look likely. The spike is down and under control. And there's the backstab from Moose.
Have been pretty amiss on. So really what I'm looking at here is XSET, can you find a way to cleanly take this round and set yourself back up for hopefully an eco advantage?
So you can see both teams fighting over horse control at the beginning. We'll keep an eye on that as the game progresses at the early timings. And otherwise, it is a full send into the A site behind the toxic screen. Spike going down immediately here. The cage going up as well to provide some extra cover. And Luminosity, they're going to have to try to close the distance here. But against, again, these rifles, it will be tough.
Oh, good help from BCJ. I was about to sit there and say the only way that you could possibly foil this post plan is if you catch them off the exit. They missed their timing to stop this play initially. And I think it's just largely, again, the call is very greedy from XSET. You feel like going into Spectres, you're going to 4-man rush into the A site. But once you get this spike planted, it's so difficult to break this post plant with just Spectres. Moves along the back, trying to find something to open up maybe a post-plant play. The trap wire reveals him, but it doesn't stop him from finding a double. Now moving forward, time becoming a problem as Dazzle's able to get into the mix. There will not be enough time for a defuse, but this was not as clean.
Got that poison orb, so that will try to deny information. Just short of peeking that to make sure it doesn't get caught, but there it is. That's the denial of information on the halls. Might force out a drone.
Hasn't yet. And as XSET actually starts to scout things out in towards A, you've got Cryo, who's super far forward. Dazzle's just looking to play a 1-for-1 corner. He gets found in the side, and oh boy, not good news! Even worse news! Cryo able to snap on for a second, and as Zekin enters into the site, the spike will fall for a quick moment, leaving Moose by his lonesome, and that might be enough as he finds a double of his own. Now it rests on B-Dog for the 1v2.
Yeah, I can see that spike is down. That will be collected. But B-Dog, full utility. The dash is available in this 1 versus 2. Quite unsure as to where his opponent is, and there's Cryo in that the Halls dynamic, and we saw now the lurk. So behind that poison orb, yeah, Cryo would lurked up this time. That might not always be the case. We'll have to be more proactive for Luminosity's sake and actually challenging that position.
That last round, Dan, I think we could definitively say that. So now, as you mentioned, yeah, big sniper advantage for Cryo. Even though he doesn't get tagged on the first look, he still will capitalize first blood. That actually forces LG to have to make a decision here defensively with not a lot to play with. In a 4v5, you just don't love their hopes, especially losing a little bit of mid-map here as we're going to get Def, who's lurking forward. So just full freedom here for XSET to run through this eco advantage round number 5.
Yeah, and we get the rotation through to the A side after they get the pick towards B. But Luminosity are rotating pretty quickly between that B side. They're back at A after realizing it wasn't towards the B side. But we actually have another rotation from XSET. So for the third time now, rotating all the way back towards that B site, and it looks like they've nailed it here. You can see that they are far beyond the timing of Luminosity on that rotation. Luminosity is still expecting some kind of piece or play, sorry, I should say, to come into A, and now they've realized.
And Def keeps the whole middle map safe with his position. He watches the double doors. You can watch the jump platform over towards the defensive spawn. So for the offenders that are starting to make their way in for a plant, they only really have to worry about what's coming from the defensive spawn itself. But as LG send every single remaining member to deal with that, they do get a trade. Problem about this is Zekit is watching it drop through tunnel, and that will likely be good enough to put the round to bed. Only
on getting popped on the execute. Oh, Cryo though will meet Mada. That horse push has been called, and Luminosity this time looking good. And I don't think that LG want to sacrifice any more pieces to B-Dog. He's going so aggressively here now.
This may catch them a bit off guard. Does he know that there's a player in the corner? The shorty in hand would suggest that he does. There's the check and the kill plus the tailwind away. How sneaky is that from B-Dog? The most unexpected way to get a trade, and then to open up the door and find one more, taking down Cryo Cells. This is not going to dissuade XSET from hitting, though. The last remaining 3 players have made their way on and successfully funded a couple of trades, but Dazzle holding the high ground on the stairs over the new box will at least be able to take down the null command, but the resurrection will come through. So full will be the actual trade itself. Pig nowhere to go. What a play from XSET.
Something back.
This time Luminosity are going to go to the Blades. Going to clear out Halls, but it's a quick take for XSET over towards the B zone. The only player here is Moose. Nothing that he could do from that position. Completely isolated. VCJ will plant. For LG, you have gotten all the way through Halls, but the next obstacle is getting through this trap wire, because not only you have to deal with that, you have to deal with Def, who's coming back to try to deal with them themselves. And while the timing of this is pretty solid from Def, avoids a handful of knives, but is caught off guard, and so he'll retreat back to try to be a little bit more safe with the rest of his teammates on this post-plant defense.
Oh, instant pop flash there. That's beautiful. They do know where the knives are coming from, though, but they are Luminosity able to get some of these opening kills. Time is starting to tick away, though. And as B-Dog, 17 points of health. Can't afford to put a single foot wrong with this. Cryo takes down Mada. Great execution from B-Dog. 2 more players to find, and time is really running out here at this point. The kill to refresh the dash. B-Dog looks for it, but Second will be able to take him down in the end.
Damage, but it's not significant enough. And that's bad news, because XSET continues to hold not just a weapon advantage, but when they do come in with a buy advantage overall throughout playoffs, and they're unbelievable. They're 21-2 when they hold an economic advantage so far through playoffs.
We can see XSET starting to really work on that A side of the map, and Luminosity with that forward presence from Marder towards elbow certainly gives them a sense that XSET are working on, if not mid, just A side of the map. Drone coming through. It's going to force the defensive toxic screen to go up. I can see in return XSET also dropping their own toxic screen, suggesting that they're going in. A little bit of delay to bait out any utility. There it is. There's that snake bite. And there's that Hunter's Fury coming through as well from Dazzle to stop this one. They were trying to make sure they wouldn't take losses from this. And at the same time, the lurk's coming through here from Marder. If this is played perfectly, there is nothing left for XSET.
Unless Def sneaks a timing up the middle of the map through halls again. That's the only thing that may allow them an opportunity to sneak a kill. But Dazzle's ready for it. A little bit of help is starting to come through, and that's the read. Not the kill, but at least the read. XSET's still going to try to push forward, using this as an opportunity to try to pinch this site into two pieces. And as B-Dog rotates back over, we still have to wonder about the defenders on the site, but also Mata, who can now move forward with Seekers as he tries to hit the flank.
And time is... Oh, what a shot there from Marta. What a great punish. And there is just no time here for this one. That's such a problem. 9 seconds to go. Just Aaron left on the site, and he's going to go down as well.
Maybe looking for an aggressive peek out of B-Dog. First time we've seen any sort of Caves aggression coming through, and it does allow them the position and more as they go through the backside of this long play.
And up alls as well. There's a big push coming through. Looks like Aaron will be able to defend against that push, though. Takes down Dazzle and is now holding that high ground. So things could reset. And at the same time, XSET have players that have made their way up to Tunnel as well as B Lobby. So that they are spread out at the moment. But the spike needs to be picked up first before anything else happens. And you can see Cry is working on that one. And B-Dog has an angle. It's going to have to be a flick, though. This will be a very important 1 versus 1. B-Dog... Oh, there you go. The cage comes through. That's going to allow the pickup of that spike. B-Dog, is he going to look for a shot? Oh my goodness, it's so painful for us with the X-ray. Oh no. From bad to worse for B-Dog.
The only thing that could possibly stop this is Mata is in a really interesting position where he may not be expected, but Def is able to collect the elimination, and that turns the 3v3 into a 3v1. Moose trying to rotate as fast as humanly possible. The Neural Theft will catch this out. And actually, he's going to get a 1v1 first. Def is going to try to get this plant off. XSET are splitting the map looking for a post-plant security. So maybe an opportunity to isolate one elimination here onto Def. But as he continues to throw shoulders, Aaron will sneak forward to help, and you've got Cryo who's still watching through mid. Really nowhere for Moose to work with as he drops.
But didn't expect the third player. Really nice recovery here for XSET. You can see the spike was lost. I think this push, this just sending it down halls as well as splitting through cave was really an awesome change of pace for Luminosity. We haven't seen them be aggressive at all so far, but very unfortunate that it's the, you know,